Hey everybody, welcome back to Cedar Creek Homestead. I hope y'all are having a wonderful day. I hear noise in the background. I got little babies out here playing in the wading pools, and they're having fun. They can't wait for Meemaw to get done with this video so they can throw water at her. I've made them semi-promise that they won't get me while I'm trying to do my video, but they're having fun. We've had two wonderful, wonderful days of sunshine, and we are enjoying that. But it's supposed to start raining this evening. And then clear off again, and then next week have a few more days of rain. So June may start out just a little bit wet, but we're okay with that. The pastures, well, ours needs to be brush hogged, but it is green and it is pretty. The trees and the grass and everything looks wonderful. And we are starting summer with giggles and laughs and having fun, just like you should when you're a child. And we are enjoying all that. Now, next week I have some big projects starting out. I'm going to be starting a big onion project, onion salt, onion powder, some different things, some homemade ranch seasoning and some different things. And I need some onion for that. I also need to clear up some space in my freezer. I've got quite a bit of frozen chopped onion in there. And I need to make space for this year's things that need to go in the in that space. And so we're going to be working up some onions, making a place on the back porch. I'm going to be caramelizing the onions, and I'm going to use my roasting pan to do that. Definitely want the heat outside, definitely want the smell outside, and then I will turn to dehydrating them. And same thing, I will dehydrate them on the back porch, just simply for the heat that the dehydrator puts off and the smell, so that everything in the house doesn't smell like onion. So we got that project coming up. We're still working on getting stuff planted. There's some things in the garden this year, the big garden. We're going back and forth on whether we want to put anything out there this year. It's been so wet that we haven't been out there. I got part of it cleaned up, and then it started raining, and I haven't been able to do anything else out there by myself. I just couldn't handle it, and all of the workload. And so the kids are back, but Blade has got he's working lots of hours, and so I don't know if we're going to put anything out there except for beans and black-eyed peas, okra, and cucumbers. We have pickling cucumbers, and we have another kind of cucumber that we grow, and it's really good. It seems like it doesn't get bitter. We don't can that. I don't make pickles out of it. I use it for fresh eating. And if I could remember right now, I would tell you what it is, but it has slipped my mind. The tomatoes and peppers are up here by the house, simply because the space was clear, was ready, and we were able to get a bunch of those in. We still have some more that need to be planted. We purchased some more. We purchased some more paste tomatoes so that we can make more homemade spaghetti sauce and some other ketchups and different things that we want to do, and try to do as much of homemade as we can. Trying to can some of those things up. We working on our pantry and working on getting all that stuff cleared out. We have a big Georgia Quail Farms incubator, one of the big cabinet types, and so we're going to be setting some chicken eggs in that. And I think that we've got 3 different groups of or types, breeds of chickens that we're going to be hatching out and getting the poultry going back on here. But that's also getting Blade's German Shorthair and our cow dog under control so that they don't kill the chickens or get access to the chickens. I did have the chickens in the chicken house last year, and that German Shorthair, how he designed the chicken house, the tack room of the chicken house had a window in it for ventilation, and it opened out into the chicken yard. And that crazy dog, when he was a pup, a big pup, but a pup, he dove through, broke that window, and got in there to the chickens. So there are some areas that we need to take care of, and there is a big persimmon tree that has grown up in the middle of the chicken yard, and Howie left it there and to put the roof of the chicken yard around that. But I think that is an area that may be allowing some pests to get in, some predators to get in, and get access to the chickens as well. So we may be taking that that tree out, and Blade may be reconfiguring the chicken yard. I'm not 100% sure on that, but we're just clipping right along. The elderberries are in full bloom, and the bushes are gorgeous. I need to take you out there and show you sometime what 2 bushes in just a couple of years can do for you. Elderberry is something that you get a lot of bang for your buck, and so we're very well pleased with that. So we just have a lot of things going on the farm. We've got, the vegetables planted. The peach tree is full of peaches, but I had a few little monkeys climbing the peach tree last night, and they pulled off about 12 about walnut-sized peaches. And we had to convince them that they weren't ready to eat. What spurred that on was the plum tree has ripe plums on it, and they've been enjoying those. And so they saw those peaches and thought they would do the same thing. So I got to get control of my little monkeys and teach them that they don't climb the trees and pluck unripe fruit. They don't pluck unripe fruit. So I hope that everything is going good at your place, and that you're clipping right along with all of the things, the activities, the buzz, and all of the things, the excitement of summer. It is here. This is, like I said earlier, one of sunny yesterday, sunny today. The wind kind of was low yesterday until late in the afternoon, and the breeze picked up, and it got a little bit chilly sitting out here, but the boys were playing in their water, and so that attributed to that, because I let them play, and they really drowned Meemaw. My dress was just soaked, and it was funny for a while because Rowdy would get his little bowl and he would fill it full of water, and he would take off running towards me. But by the time he got to me, over and over and over and over, there was no water in his little bowl. And so I had to show him what he needed to do, and that he needed to slow down and make sure that he got the ingredient that was in his pot all the way to the source. Now, as they were playing in that water, I began to think about their process. They knew that they had a goal in mind, and the goal was to get the water all the way to me. Started out with Howie trying to just get water on my feet, and they worked and worked and worked. Howie was successful, and Tate would get to me with just a little tiny bit of water, and he just giggled. And like I said, Rowdy would run with all of his might to obtain the goal. And by the time he got to me, his little bucket, every single time his little bowl was empty. And what I did was took some of the Tupperware bowls that I didn't need anymore, and some little stainless steel bowls and some spoons and things, so that they would have something for their mud kitchen. And so they have played with that. And that was what he was using to try his best. So he worked so hard to get there. He had the means. He had the bowl, he had the water, he had the directions, he knew the route to go, he knew how to get from point A to B, but his method was just a little messed up. And of course, he splashed all that water out over and over and over again. And sometimes in life, we do that. We know what the end goal is. We know that we want to get from point A to point B. We know that we've been gifted, or we've been qualified, or we have the means to make it happen. We have direction from the Lord, or we have something on our job, or something in our family that we know that we want to go from here to here. But when it comes down to it, we're just a little mixed up in our method and our reasoning, and we have to readjust. If we don't readjust, then we may get all the way to point B, but when we get to point B, we have nothing in our hands. And the goal is to make it to point B with something to offer. Now, I know that his was water to get Meemaw wet. We want to make sure that we get to our end goal, the goal line, the finish line, with something in our hands to offer. That we want to, in life, we're not always going to be number one. We're not always going to be top of the ticket. We're not always going to be the star of the show. We're not always going to have our names in bold letters. We're not going to be the most popular. We're not going to be even the most successful. And we need to realize that we're not going to be all of those things. But if we use what we have been given, if we use what talents we have and just use those things to make it to the goal, then we're going to be successful. We may not ever have multi-millions of dollars or even thousands or maybe even hundreds of dollars. We may not ever have all of those things. But when we do what we're challenged to do, when we do what we're gifted to do, what we're called to do, then we'll be successful if we think about the method. Think about the, when we start out with that bowl of water to get to the end line, maybe the best thing to do is not run and shake the bowl. Now, Rowdy has this gait when he walks, especially when he runs, and we're not really sure if it's that way. He walks fine, he runs fine, but there are times that he favors his legs in a certain way, and we're not 100% sure that that didn't happen when he was in the NICU for so long. And we really think that he will, as he continues to grow, he'll grow out of that, because and he doesn't have, like I said, he doesn't have any challenges with running and playing and climbing. My goodness, with climbing, he can climb anything. With jumping and all of those things. So we know that he's good with all of that. But so when he runs, when he's tickled and he runs, and giggles and shakes that bowl and spills everything out. And so when I didn't have to worry about him getting me wet. Now Howie and Tate, yes. And then we got it into a game where I was just right there at the pool. And then of course I definitely got wet because he wasn't having to run. Sometimes when we have a call to do something, we've been gifted or talented in a certain way. We get it in our head that we've got the best plan and that we know exactly what we're supposed to do. And we step out and we do it. And there's nothing wrong with stepping out and having courage in the face of something new that we've never done before. Sometimes we're so scared that we just sit on that talent. There are lots of people that have talents galore, but fear stops them from stepping out, using what the Lord has given them. And they can't make it from point A to point B using what they're gifted with because they allow the fear to stop them. They allow the fear to paralyze them in some ways. Now, I used to be extremely bashful, painfully bashful from the time I was a young child. Now, I remember when I was little, I would sing. I was always singing and humming. And I remember, singing a song. My stepdad and my mom were at this party in their neighborhood. And they stood me up on a table. And I sung that song, Why Me, Lord? I was just a little bitty girl. I guess you could say that was my first concert. After that, somewhere along the way, I became a very, very bashful person, very introverted. I wanted to be friends with people so bad, but I just could not make myself speak. And I had people call me a snob and all kinds of things, but it was simply because I was just painfully, painfully shy. Through the years, Howie and I pastored our first church, and it continued. I was bashful, and someone would say something, and I would just take it to heart. There's no such thing as constructive criticism. I took everything to heart, and I thought that when people said something, they meant, that I was just awful. There was some trouble in our church, and not by our doings, but it got around that this person was saying that I couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. And so what do you think that done for somebody that doesn't have any confidence, that doesn't have any, not a lot of self-assurance, someone that is so painfully bashful? Well, I just sat on it. I sat on the talent. Now, I'm not saying that I am a wonderful singer. I'm just saying that the Lord, I sing a lot at our church, and the Lord uses me, and I'm thankful for that. I couldn't pack out a concert house. I'm not saying that. But I stopped singing. And because someone said I couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. Well, it wasn't that long, and in through the mail, here come this little piece of paper that somebody had cut off of a desk calendar. And all it said, nobody said, dear Josie, Sister Ferguson, nothing like that. They didn't sign their name. It just simply said, remember the tea kettle. Even when it's up to its neck in hot water, it still sings. So it's getting mixed messages there. But the person that sent the second message was right. I couldn't set on any kind of talent that the Lord might have given me because of the thoughts and the bitterness and the mean remarks made by somebody. And we need to make sure that we don't allow ourselves to be crippled by challenges that we have, that we don't let ourselves be restricted by what we're able to do for the Lord or anybody with the things that we have, the abilities that we have, because we're scared or we're intimidated or we just simply don't think that we're enough. Now, you might say, well, talents, I can't sing, I can't do this, I can't play music, I can't preach, I can't draw, I can't. There are so many things that people can do, and I call them talents. And most people, when you say, well, they're talents, people are thinking of things that you do to perform. And I'm not necessarily talking about performance, although that does have something to do with it. But I'm talking about everyday life and the things that you have, gifts and abilities. You may be somebody that just has the best listening ear around, not for gossip, but that you let a person that might need to grieve, that needs to talk to somebody about their pain, something that's going on in their life, and you just an extremely good listener, and you are known for being discreet, that you don't just blab. See, if you have a gifting for having a listening ear, you also need to make sure that you have a gift to keep your mouth buttoned when you need to, because you will hurt your talent, you will hurt your ability. You will be like Rowdy and splash all your water out before you get to point B, and you don't want to do that. You may be someone that people just love to be around. You just have that kind of rapport. You just have that kind of spirit about you. You're somebody that you just know, you just almost like it's supernaturally that you know when somebody needs a hug, and you just open your arms to friend or stranger that needs a hug and reassurance. I've seen it at church hundreds and hundreds of times. That there are certain individuals that people are just drawn to them. You may be the best baker in the world, and that too can be something that you have that can get you from point A to point B, that you can offer. When you get to point B, you have something to offer, something that says, I care about you and the Lord cares about you. It could be that you're just really good with children, and there's a young mother in the church that just is over the top, exhausted, and just the kids seem to be out of control. And maybe you just know how to go over and pick up a little one and comfort them without them throwing a fit that mama's not the one holding them. I've seen stories of people on airplanes that'll hold somebody else's children and let them just decompress just a little bit, and the babies are fine. They're comfortable with the person. I know that we are so challenged now, and we're afraid and we're cautious because of the world that we live in, and it's a shame that it's become that way. But there are so many people that have good things to offer to children in a safe way. I know people that are really, really talented when it comes to ministering to elders and elderly people, whether it's in your church or in your community or in your family. They're just somebody that will sit down and listen to a story, and they might have told them the story 50 times, but the person would never be able to guess that they've told it that many times, because that you might have the gifting to just listen and to enjoy the story and laugh in all the right places and sigh in all the right places and allow that person to reminisce a little bit. It doesn't take a whole lot to really think about and pray about the things that the Lord has given you that you're able to do. Getting from point A to point B and beyond is a goal that we should set in our lives. The direction that we know that we must travel. Doesn't mean that you won't run into speed bumps. Doesn't mean that you might every once in a while run into a short detour. But if we know what the end goal is, we know beyond a shadow of a doubt where we're headed and what we should be doing. We've got the means, and we got all of those things. And sometimes we might have to readjust the method. And I worked with little Rowdy last night. Walk to me, because when he would walk, he wasn't bouncing all the water out of his bowl. Also, we got a bigger bowl. Sometimes you got to change just a little bit of that equipment. Your means might change just a little bit for you to be able to achieve the goal that you've got set out. So I hope you guys are enjoying this beautiful Saturday, and that you're with family and friends, people that love you, people that you love, and that you might be able just to take it, think on this just a little bit about how you're getting from point A to point B, whether it is you're on their job, you're trying to reach retirement, maybe you're trying to help raise your grandkids or your children, get out of debt, all the different things. Or maybe it is that you know that you're called to ministry and you're trying to win people to the Lord. All of those things, all of those have direction, all of those have a path. And maybe, just maybe while we think about it, the Lord will begin to reveal to us that our method is just a little bit off, just a little bit. And we have to readjust some, like Rowdy in his little bowl of water trying to get to Mimo. Okay, guys, I'm going to get off here. I promised these boys that I would play in the water with them a little bit. So I know good and well when I go in the house, I will be soaking wet. But I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. So we're going to get off and play in a little bit in the water. And we hope that you find a little bit of fun this Saturday afternoon. Until next time, guys, this is Josie. I love you guys. I really do. Keep looking well to the ways of your household. Look for those ways to get from point A to point B. Check your method and make sure that you don't need to readjust. Till next time, we're gone.